So I have to tell you something kind of embarrassing about how I used to plan my annual goals. And like most people, every December I would set this big, beautiful plan for the whole next year. And then, like clockwork, every 3 to 4 weeks or so, usually right around my luteal cycle, when I was just completely fed up and sick of everything and everyone, including myself, I would completely rebuild it from scratch. I was basically running yearly or like annual plans and then replanning them every single month. Can you imagine replanning your year like you do in December, but every month? Because that is not an annual plan. It ended up being basically just the same vision boards with slightly different pictures and an absolute library of business systems that were the same but recreated every single month. And I kept thinking something was wrong with me. Like, I just couldn't stick to things. I had no follow through, no discipline. And that's kind of like classic ADHD girly behavior, right? But then when I discovered and switched to the 12-week year, so planning 12 weeks at a time, something just kind of clicked in my brain that I didn't really expect. And it wasn't that I compressed a whole year down into just 12 weeks. It was that I finally gave myself enough time to actually follow through and see the traction before my brain decided to burn it all down, but a short enough time I could stop myself from burning it all down, knowing it was only 12 weeks. And not gonna lie, the first couple of rounds I struggled, but by the third time, it was a lot easier. And by the fourth time, I realized I did actually need to set new big goals because by that fourth round, that fourth quarter, I was actually living the life that my entire plan was built around achieving the goals for. I'm about halfway through round 5 right now, and I have seen more traction in these last 2 rounds, or 6 months if you're bad at math, than I have in probably like the last 5 years of my business before I started planning everything in these 12-week sprints or the 12-week year. So if you're somebody like me who loves to make a big, beautiful plan, but then gets irritated or bored and blows it up just to recreate basically the same thing every few weeks or month or two, I just want you to know it's okay. And there's a really good chance it's not a discipline problem. It's not a grit through it problem. It's probably more of a timeline problem because your brain doesn't take 12 months nearly as seriously as it does 12 weeks. Don't tell my husband, but I probably bought 3 to 4 planners a year before I stopped thinking in traditional years. And now I just have a graveyard full of maybe like 2 weeks of filled out pages of those planners just sit on my bookshelf. Comment with how many planners or systems that you've bought in the last couple of years to try to be more disciplined.